We were trying to find our new home. We were going to film all of these episodes, so it took us a little bit, but now we're here. And we want to thank Soiree here in Liberty Hill for letting us make the Liberty Hill Sit Downs podcast our new home. And we're kicking it off with Nikki, who is also AKA Howdy Liberty Hill, which you must know her from social media. If you've seen her post on Instagram and Facebook. I think on Facebook you have over 5,500 followers, right?
It's growing. Yeah, it's fun. It's very fun. And
how do you say your last name?
Bontrager.
Bontrager.
Yes.
Oh, okay, very cool. It sounds like what's that? What's her name? The Hills Are Alive with the Sound of Music. It has like
yeah. When we first moved to Liberty Hill, the very first Sunday we went to church, we introduced ourselves, and the Sunday school teacher was like, "Oh, like the Von Trapps." Same thing.
Really?
Same analogy.
It does have like that musical, classic musical name.
And it is a German name.
Is it really? Oh, very cool.
So I married into that one. So I always have to spell it and pronounce it for people.
Well, with your latest post, speaking of which, you had a music video that you posted.
Yes.
How did that go?
That was very fun. I had the idea for a few weeks to do a Liberty Hill Christmas music video and just pull in. I wanted videos of everybody doing their Christmas traditions and celebrations. And yeah, it didn't come together perfectly the way I had in my head. I had a much more grand vision in my head. But with my technological skill, it worked. It was fun.
You played the piano. That was your piano, or did you go? Do you
play
piano?
I sort of do. The more I practice, the better I get. So sometimes I'm really good, and sometimes I'm a little rusty. But I did practice this song for a week or so before I finally recorded it. That was a little nerve-wracking to have to actually record yourself playing, because I normally just play for my family, and so if I mess up a note, it doesn't matter. But
right.
Yeah, I only messed up a couple of times in the video, if you listen close.
How many places did you go visit for that music video?
A few. I went around town. I pulled some of the footage from previous Christmas things that I already had on my phone. Some people messaged me videos that they had. I would have loved to have gotten more and put more in there, but there's always next year. I'll do it again next year.
There's always New Year's too, if you want to make a New Year's music video.
Yeah, I should make a music video. Actually, I tried, I really wanted to use a certain song. I met with the cheerleaders from both schools a couple weeks ago. They getting ready for their competition, and so they had a cheer off, and both teams were there, and I talked to both coaches, and I wanted to do the Weezer song, the Beverly Hills Weezer song.
Oh, yeah.
But change the lyrics to like cheering in Liberty Hill to like highlight the cheerleaders. And that song isn't in the music library for Instagram or Facebook. So we filmed all this footage singing like the songs to ourselves. And then I went to put it online, and I couldn't decide to tell the coaches like, oh, tell the girls it's going to be different because I can't use the song. But that would be my dream someday, to get permission from Weezer to use.
I was going to say, you can do a song. Tag them.
Yeah, maybe like, please give me permission.
It's for a good cause.
Yes.
Well, recently you were part of the Liberty Hill, you got awarded the Spirit of Liberty Hill Award, and you were on the cover of the Liberty Hill Independent newspaper. Yeah. Did you expect that kind of?
That was very humbling. I always hoped, like I knew it was in the running, and I hoped that I would win that prize. But I guess more time went on that I figured they already would have announced the winners, and so I just assumed like, oh, I guess I didn't get it because it's been all this time and I haven't heard anything. So I was like, I guess whoever it was, I'll be like very happy for that person.
Right.
And then when Rachel Madison called, I was like, hey, by the way, I was like, oh, you mean I actually did, like it kind of hit me on. I was very excited, but I thought that I hadn't gotten it. So it was very exciting to find out that I actually did.
Were you like rallying for votes, or were you kind of just taking a step back? And
I tried to stay, I think I only made one post about it because I didn't want to, I didn't want to people feel pressured or like, oh, please vote for me. So I didn't want to like beg for votes, but it was very, very humbling.
What does it mean to you to like be the Spirit of Liberty Hill? What does
it mean to me? Just that I think people appreciate what I try to do. And it was nice to be honored in that way, that they like what I do, that I go and I talk to people and I share stories and I try to get people more involved and connected with each other. So I felt very honored that people recognized that and wanted to vote for that. And Liberty Hill is just a great place to be. You know, people, they want to know each other. They want to be involved in the community. Most of the people that live here chose to live here because they like our small town, our community.
Right.
Or even if they come up from Austin, there's so many other suburbs they could go to. But Liberty Hill is just a very special place. Like, people just want to be here, and it's fun to be part of that.
Well, are you from Liberty Hill or what?
No, I grew up in Amarillo, so still Texas. My husband's from Austin. We met when I was in grad school. But we bought land out here about a decade ago, just hoping that we'd build on it someday. So we've officially only been here about 3 years. I usually try to up my street cred and tell people that, oh, well, we've had land out here for a decade. Like, so I'm not so new, but I'm just as new as most of the people that are here.
So what was your upbringing like? What was life in Amarillo like for you?
It was good. Amarillo, it's big enough that we had all of the major things that you would want to be entertained by, but small enough that you could get across town in 20 minutes or so. So yeah, I really liked growing up there. It was very flat. There's for years, I've been down here long enough that trees feel like home, but it used to be when we would drive back to Amarillo, it's about an 8-hour drive, that as soon as it got really flat and you had the blue sky and the green ground kind of met each other, it's like, hey, we're home. Like, this flatness is home. But now I like the trees, and when we come back the other direction, like, oh, we get hills and trees again. It feels like home here. So it's shifted a little, but Amarillo's a great place to grow up.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, how did, you said your husband's from Austin. So how did, you from Amarillo and him from Austin, how did that become a thing?
So I did my graduate studies in San Marcos, which is just south of Austin. And we met at church functions and just kind of hit it off from there. So we just had our 16th wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you have a big family?
We do.
How many kids did you
We
have?
have 5 kids.
5 kids. How many boys? How many girls?
Our oldest is our only boy, and he has 4 little sisters.
Oh, wow.
So we joke, my husband's family, they're a blended family. So there were 9 kids in his family growing up. So a yours, mine, and ours kind of situation. But there's lots of boys.
Yeah.
And of the grandkids, there's boys, and more boys. And so my husband thought we'd get lucky if we had a girl. And so we had Simon, and then we had our second, we had Grace, who's a 7th grader. And we're like, oh, well, we got our one girl. And so we're like, well, Simon needs brothers. So we tried to give him brothers, and he just got more little sisters. So he's the lone boy. But he does a good job for having that many little sisters.
He plays a good big brother role.
He does.
He's
trying to, as he gets older, he's trying to like take on that role and be a good brother.
So when you were studying in college, what was your focus of study? What was your ambitions?
Yeah. So I did my bachelor's degree in Idaho. That's where my parents grew up, actually. So it was kind of fun being near my grandparents in college. But I went to BYU, Idaho. It's in a little town called Rexford. Really cold in the winter. Magical place, though. I love Rexford. But my bachelor's is in psychology with a minor in communication. And then I knew that I wanted to pursue that more. And so my graduate study was in professional counseling. So I'm actually a therapist. Is my real licensed job. But the school that I was at didn't have any graduate programs for that degree. So I knew I had to come back to Texas to get in-state tuition, applied to schools all over the state, and picked San Marcos and went there. And it was fun. It's really good place to study.
So as a therapist, you practice here in Liberty Hill, or you're nearby? Is there a specialty that you have with your?
Yeah, I love working with teenagers and couples.
Oh, okay.
I do lots of anxiety and depression. That's every therapist's bread and butter.
Right.
All of my undergraduate and graduate research projects were on self-injury. That's something that's really kind of fun to study and help people overcome that.
Right.
But what I love to do is couples, marriage counseling, and teenagers. So.
What got you into therapy, though? How did that path lead you to that?
Oh, that's a really funny story. So the long story with that is I wanted to work for NASA. So when I was in high school, I did an engineering camp at the Johnson Space Center. We got to spend a week down there and work with astronauts and do experiments. Very much like it was like a physics kind of engineering camp. And I loved it, and I thought, I have to work here. I have to work for NASA someday. So when I originally went to college, I applied to be an engineering major. Very quickly realized I could care less about all things engineering related. I didn't want to do the math or the science or the welding or anything related to engineering. I just wanted to end up at NASA. And going into my second year of college, I had a long conversation with my dad, and he had me list out everything I could ever want to do in life. And then he's like, I also know you want to get married and have a family someday. He's like, so list out everything you would probably do and still, be able to have a family. So that was a much smaller list than all of my imagination lists. And so there were only a couple of things that overlapped the lists. And it was geology, which could get me to NASA because I also loved rocks. And it was psychology. And so I debated between geology and psychology, which is funny because it's rocks and brains, like totally different fields. But I decided to do psychology. I thought that would be cool. And my literal train of thought was, I will be the psychologist that works with the astronauts to make sure that they're healthy enough for space travel, and they will like me so much they will take me with them to Mars. That was my actual train of thought. And so I was going to do clinical psychology, and my third year in college, one of my electives was counseling psychology. And counseling is a different theoretical basis than like clinical psych. And loved that class. One of our early assignments was we had to sit down with a friend and talk for 15 minutes, which seemed so long to talk for, and record the conversation and write it up and give it to our teacher so he could tell if we were using the skills that he had taught us. So I had a guy friend that I knew would say yes to be a guinea pig to my experiment. And so I sat down with Ben, similar to this, and we're just asking questions, and I'm using my listening skills that I've been taught from my professor. And Ben has all these light bulbs going off about like why he was an engineering major, but why he was pursuing that and his goals. And we're both sitting there just like, wow, like all I did was use very basic listening skills to you, and all these light bulb moments. And it was this really cool experience. And I just thought, if I can help Ben, who doesn't need therapy at all, like how much more could I help people who actually really need this? And so it was after that, I was like, okay, no, I don't want to do clinical psych anymore. I want to do more of this. I want more of this feeling of really being able to help people. And so graduated, and then instead of pursuing a clinical psych degree, pursued the professional counseling degree.
How long have you been practicing?
I have to do my math. I feel really old. I got my full license. So when you first graduate, you have to do so many state hours under supervision. So I graduated in 2011 or 2010, and then I finished up all my state hours in 2015. So yeah, about a decade of having my own private practice.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What's how would you describe your approach with that? When you have a client, I don't know too much about your field, so
yeah.
I'm sure you have some kind of your way of doing things that's different from everyone else.
Yeah. I would be what you'd call a solution focused counselor. That's kind of my base of that's my theoretical orientation. I like to throw in a little bit of art therapy and gestalt therapy, so it's more techniques that I use. But I love to just meet people where they're at. I tell them, I'm not the expert in your life, you are. So it's I'm not going to come in as the expert and say, you need to do X, Y, and Z, and, follow exactly the way that I'm telling you to get the results you want. I want them to have the tools. I want them to have the confidence to use the tools that I teach them to do it on their own. So I'd like to joke with them in that first session is, my goal is for you to get rid of me, get me to the curve someday. That's my goal, is for you to not need me. And I think that helps take the edge off people is, they know that they're not going to be there forever and ever and years and years and years. So some sessions are shorter, some are longer, depending on how quickly they work through their goals. But that's my goal, is to help them get rid of me someday.
Is there do you always have a goal of how long you would like somebody to be with you?
It just depends on what they're coming in for.
Yeah.
So it's hard to predict in that first session what's going to happen. Usually 2-3 months is usually kind of standard.
Yeah.
And then you kind of taper off to meeting, less frequently, but as long as the progress is maintained.
Yeah. You mentioned art. When you sit with clients, do you have them draw something, or is that what you mean by
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
So not every time.
Not like you show them the rope?
The Rorschach. No, actually, and those are restricted. So with my license, there's some testing I can do, but the Rorschach ink blot test is actually restricted to, you have to have a PhD in psychology. Yeah. So there's some testing that my license does not qualify me for.
Is there like another quirky one that you're not qualified to do?
There's one, it's called the house tree person test. So we just sneak and use it anyways, but officially we're not trained to be able to officially diagnose with the house tree person test. So there's a handful of them.
Really?
But I don't do a ton of like official testing, just with my theoretical orientation and the people that I see. If I worked in other settings, like maybe more clinical or hospitalized or institutionalized settings, I probably would use more of those. But the people that come to see me at office here in Liberty Hill it's not usually what they need.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, ink blot tests, can't do that.
I didn't know that. I thought that was just kind of like across the board. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's restricted. So
yeah, it's a really cool fact. I had no clue about that. So for you, like I always see you around town, but I have never seen you with a frown on your face. So what's been kind of your secret to keeping that positivity and go-getter momentum that you kind of exude when you're around people?
Oh, I just love to be around people. Some of that, I love to tell people stories. I think partly because of my counseling background. Everyone has a cool story to share. And so I love that I can be a small part of getting that out to people. I did journalism in high school and college. So also storytelling and getting people's stories out there. I don't know, I've always been happy. I think it's just probably a heavenly gift that I was given that's just something that I can do. But that's a great question. Yeah. It's just part of who I am.
It's just not been like a trial or tribulation moment in your life where you maybe pivoted to saying like, I can't let things like this take away my happiness. Like, did you ever have a moment like that, or? There's been crummy things that have happened. I don't know that if I had a moment where it took away that core part of me. Even when there's been trials, I usually was still happy through it. There'd be moments or there'd be people I'd be frustrated at. But bigger picture wise, I was still able to get through that. A lot of that's probably, religion and church, is there's that hope that because of Christ, I can overcome all things. But yeah, like I broke my ankle in college when I was a dancer, I was on the dance team. Broke my ankle a week before the big fall showcase, and I was gonna be on the front row, and my dance was so excited. Got to watch it from crutches in the audience and cry through that one. But even with that, like there are just moments of like that was really hard, and in that moment of time, that was really sad. But there's a lot of lots of prayer, lots of comfort, and kind of that way to pull through. Like, okay, there's a lesson to be learned out of this. I'm going to be okay. I'm not alone in this. Right. My brother was up in college with me, took good care of me. So it just, I think faith helps with some of that. It's a good parallelism talking about faith. Did you grow up in a very religious background? How has faith been a core factor in your life and your journey to today?
I think it just gives you that perspective that things are going to work out. That crummy things will still happen, and there can still be death and injury and illness and heartaches. But you're not alone in that. And then I guess for me, it's like there's a lesson to be learned. There's something that I need to gain out of this. One of the phrases that my mom used to always say when something hard was happening, or I had to deal with a difficult person or get through a particular trial, is she's like, Nikki, if this is the hardest thing you ever have to do in your life, can you handle it in such a way that you look back and be like, I am proud of how I handled that. And so it kind of shortens the like, okay, I got to get through this hard thing. But if this is the hardest thing I ever have to do, how do I need to handle it so I can look back and say, I did it. I did my best and I did okay. So it doesn't drag. I guess faith helps me know it's not going to last forever.
Right. So, how about the power of prayer? I mean, you since you have a very strong foundation of faith, how do you share with people kind of what the power of prayer means to you?
Oh, that's a great question. How do I share that with people? I talk about it with my kids. I want them to know. I don't know. I think just I've tried more as an adult to bring it up more naturally. I think growing up, I didn't talk about it a whole bunch. That's one of the nice things at Liberty Hill is people talk about it. It's so open. They've got boutiques with prayer walls. That people can write in the request walls. So it's helped, I think, being in a more conservative, very faith-filled community to be able to talk about it more. So I've had to learn that just over the last few years of it's okay to talk about these things and just tell people when they're sick, hey, I'll keep you in my prayers, and not gonna be why would you do that? So I guess I'm still learning how to be more vocal in public about it, but I'm trying to just be more natural way than talk about it. But I don't think that answers your question.
No, but there's a power. People that are faith-based, there's a power to prayer, right? And it's just a matter of trying to interpret. How do you tell people that there is power to prayer? What's a great way to word that to people?
Yeah.
And you seem to. I feel like you probably have a great way of explaining that. That could be a good message.
Thank you.
I just don't know what the words are. Maybe
I don't know either.
Yeah, I guess it's just a feeling, right? It's just
maybe so.
The power of prayer is a feeling, not maybe a definition.
I think it's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, people, if you tell someone I'm going to, I'll keep you in my prayers, I think they have to know that you mean it, that you'll actually follow through with it, that you care about them. I've tried to teach that to my kids. So in the evenings when we'll say prayers before we go to bed, I'm like, all right, guys, who's sick at school? Who, and they're like, oh, well, so-and-so has a broken toe, or, so-and-so's sister was throwing up today. I'm like, okay, make sure. So just trying to teach them to pray for other people, but just to build that empathy and that compassion in as well. So there's definitely power in prayer. I think there's also a lot of power in just loving other people and looking beyond ourselves. Because I see that, and maybe some of that's influenced by counseling also, that I think our world can unfortunately be very self-centered. Recently, it seems like. Yeah. And so I try to make sure that I'm looking out for other people and noticing them, and I'm trying to teach my kids that as well. So I'll tell them a lot, hey, if you see somebody sitting by themselves, go sit by them. Yeah. Or if somebody, at least walk past and be like, hi, as you walk, at least just notice the people around you and try to be that influence for good. Let people know that they're seen and that they're heard. So if you talk to my kids, they'd be like, oh yeah, I hear that a lot before I get out of the car at school. Go smile at somebody, go serve somebody. Yeah. Just trying to counter some of that selfish attitude that we can see in the world sometimes. Yeah, definitely. I feel like there's something to be said about energy, right? And the energy you put out to people, and having good energy out there really can impact somebody. If you have negative energy, that's still equally as, I mean, we're pretty powerful people when it comes to our energies, and sometimes people don't realize they have that power within them, whether positive or negative. Yeah. So that's why your positive energy seems very powerful, because you don't come out to the public with a frown on your face. You seem just always at 100% with positivity, and maybe faith is that core foundation that just keeps that momentum going for you. Yeah. I try. I've generally always been a pretty happy person. So, but I'm glad that you see that. I do. I think you said it in a really nice way, that that faith has been the core of just keeping that positive attitude. That it's been a gift given to you to have that continuous positivity. I think so. I think we're all born with some kind of spiritual gift. Something that helps us to connect with other people. So. Perhaps that's one of mine.
Maybe that spiritual gift is also why you're a therapist and working in the field that you're working in now.
Thank you. I hope so. I really hope so. I think I'm a much better listener now than I was probably before I went to grad school, and they taught me better how to do it. But yeah, I've really worked on that. I guess I had to with my job, but as I going into college and adulthood, really tried to work and develop that skill. So.
Yeah, you don't sit in your client meetings and say, "How does that make you feel?" every time.
Yeah, usually not that. Yeah, usually not that one. But then even then, emotions are still fun. So evident when I do, it always gets a chuckle. I'm like, hey, let's talk about how you're feeling there, and there's always a chuckle because that's such a standard therapist. Like, how does it make you feel? But I do have 2 different emotion word charts that I pull out pretty regularly, especially when I've got guys in my office because boys aren't usually taught to explore the whole range of human emotions. And so I have one that's more simple and I have one that's very, there's lots of emotions. It's very detailed. But I love it just helping people. If you can pinpoint the emotion that you're feeling more specifically, it usually helps you find the solution. Because there's a difference between, someone's like, oh, I'm just angry all the time. It's like, well, are you angry? Or are you overwhelmed? Are you stressed? Are you jealous? Are you feeling betrayed? Those are all angry type feelings, but they mean very different things. And so if people can pinpoint okay, well, maybe I'm not angry, maybe I'm just overwhelmed. It's like, okay, well, how do we decrease that? That's a different solution. So yeah, it's fun to talk about emotions.
Well, and then you're a pro at the positive emotions, so that helps too.
Yes, and now you have that trigger word of toxic positivity, and I'm like, ooh, I hope that I'm not.
Tell me more about that. What's toxic positivity?
Oh, that's one of the fancy buzzwords that's floating around in the world lately. But it's, I think, the Pollyanna effect. Everything's going to be okay always, and not allowing people to just sometimes have a bad day. So I have to be aware that I'm not being toxically positive.
Yeah, so how do you manage someone that's having a bad day then, and not overbearing with positivity? How do you do something like that
in my office,
or just in your world in general? For being such a positive person.
I think just finding that balance of that we're all human and we're all going to have bad days. It's how long that lasts for. Because if it's a short amount of time that you're feeling kind of crummy and then you're going to naturally come out of it, then that's just part of being human. But if you get stuck in the mud and you're there for a while and you don't know how to get out of it, that's when the tools and things can come in handy. But if someone's just having a bad day, have you eaten anything? Have you taken a nap? Those are the 2 big ones. Are you hungry? Are you tired?
Hangry is a real thing. That's for sure.
My husband learned early on in our marriage that I'd get frustrated about something, and he'd be like, "Nikki, when's the last time you ate?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm a little hungry." He's like, "Let's feed you, and then we'll continue talking about this." And I would magically get so much better if you just fed me. Half of my kids are the same way. That when they're grumpy, it's like, put some food in your mouth. Yeah. Eat something, and then we'll talk.
Isn't that funny that's the cure-all for a lot of people's grumpiness is just
food
eating.
And sleep.
That Snickers commercial really isn't lying to us.
Yeah,
it really is.
It really is real. Yes, very much so.
So 16 years married, as you mentioned your husband.
Yeah.
What's the secret to be over a decade together? And
he's just the best. He's the best person that I think a therapist can be married to because he's very, very chill. It's really easy to be married to him. So, and it's fun because he used to he works at the same company he's always worked at. He helped start it with his friends way back. It's been almost 20 years ago. His role in the company shifted a few different times, but when he was managing people, he'd come home sometimes and be like, "Oh, these 2 people were arguing and I had in my office," and he's like, "And I said this, and I said this," and I'm like, "Oh, you're using counseling skills." Yeah. So he would pick them up for me and use them on his employees. He was a great boss. But, the secret to happy marriage, I think, is not being selfish. So whenever we go to wedding receptions, I always I'm always like, the key to a happy marriage is not being selfish. And it really is. It's like making, looking out for the other person, trying to make sure that they're happy. There's a phrase what was the phrase again? Mom brain. I lost it. Well, if I think about it later, I'll let you know. There was some fancy phrase that I had about that idea, but it really is just caring about the other person and making sure that they're okay. And then listening to the words. I think I see that a lot with couples in my office is, they'll get into a fight, and the fight is not so much about what originally started it, but it blooms into how they're not being listened to. And so they'll end up fighting about something 2 or 3 degrees removed from the actual problem because they're fighting about their fighting. And so just being a good listener, really trying to understand where the other person's coming from is so valuable. And he's just really chill. And so it helps me be chill. So, yeah.
Do you think the concept of like seeking to understand
Yes.
would have a big factor in that too?
Yes.
Like it's easy when someone gets upset that you get offended by their upset, and then that creates mutual upset.
Yes.
And so instead of taking the pause and seeking to understand, like, okay, why are you upset? Just like the hunger thing, or why are you grumpy? Oh, I think you might need,
Yeah.
It's interesting that you think selfishness is like the one weakening factor in.
Oh, not just the one. I think it's one of probably many. But yeah, like if we're more worried about proving ourselves right than trying to understand where the person's coming from, then we're not going to resolve anything.
Right.
And so it's, if you know that your husband or your wife or your daughter or your mom or your friend is upset, being humble enough to be like, okay, I've probably done something here. And taking that to them instead of being like, well, I don't know why they're mad. I didn't do anything wrong. Or, well, you shouldn't be mad about that. That's a dumb reason to get mad. Like, then you're throwing all the blame on the other person. So to be humble enough to just be like, okay, I've upset you in some way. I've done something that hurt your feelings. Let me know what happened so we can make amends. I think it's hard sometimes for people to go in that humble way.
Yeah.
But seeking to understand, that's a great phrase for sure. Trying to understand where they're coming from so you can actually solve it. Like it might be just something really simple as, like maybe all she wants or maybe all he wants is for her to, when he comes in the door after work to like acknowledge like, hey, you're home, and give him a hug. Maybe that acknowledgement is all that he really needs, but you'll get into a fight of, well, you didn't talk to me. Well, you didn't talk to me. Well, I texted you. You didn't respond. And then over this whole other fight, instead of like, oh, the acknowledgement is really probably what both of you need. How do we build that into the routine? How do we make those habits where you're acknowledging each other, where you're showing that you're important to each other?
Absolutely. What's a good agree to disagree apology? And does one exist?
Yeah, I definitely don't tell people, like, don't lie, because that doesn't do any good. So be genuine as much as you can be genuine. So there's going to be times where you're probably not sorry for what you did. You recognize that it did maybe have the same effect, but you would do it again. And so don't lie about things, but it's okay just to acknowledge, like, hey, we see this, I see this differently, or I see that this had an effect and I wasn't trying to hurt you in that way, but maybe this is where I was coming from. Again, it's that seeking to understand if you know where people are coming from. But definitely be genuine and be honest to the extent that you can. So usually I think the hard apologies are I'm sorry you feel that way. Or I'm sorry that your feelings got hurt. I'm like, that's not an apology.
Yeah, those are the worst. They don't feel good when you receive them.
No, they don't.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if there was such a thing as an agree to disagree apology, because that's those two that you just mentioned. Oh, they just like make you feel terrible. Like that's not the genuine, honest.
Because there's no accountability there.
Right. Yeah.
And so even if you're not super sorry or you just don't like the way you're just being genuine just being honest with people and acknowledging, like, I see how this affected you and I can see the result of these things, and just be honest what you can be honest for.
Is there a freebie marriage activity that you recommend couples try to do to either?
Oh, there's so many things that are free. You don't have to spend any time. A lot of that would go back to time.
Yeah.
So when I have couples in my office, we'll talk a lot about John Gottman, like the 5 love languages. That wasn't John Gottman. That was Oh, it starts with a C, the other author's name. But the 5 love languages are helpful, just Nancy, to give you an idea of what you could do. So his 5 love language, his theory, Gary Chapman, I think that's the name of the guy who wrote the book. It was acts of service, quality time, gifts of words of affirmation, and physical touch. And so most people are going to respond positively to 1 or 2 of those 5. Like, they're all nice, but there's going to be a couple that mean more. And so if you know what your spouse needs, or what your kids need, if you just make sure an effort that you're filling that love tank. And gifts doesn't always have to be money. It just, a gift in his theory just shows that you saw something that made you think of them and you're bringing it back. And so that could be a dandelion or something. It's just, or making a card, or making a treat, like, oh, I made you your favorite cookies because I know you had a hard day at work. That's a gift that doesn't cost a lot of money. It's just showing them that I was thinking of you, and so here's something tangible in a gift form. But quality time is huge. Physical touch is pretty much always number 1 or 2 for people. But those, yeah, the 5, just spend time, or use nice words, or serve each other. All those things are helpful and free.
So that book, you think, is that, I haven't read that book, but would you recommend that book?
I do. Yeah, I usually tell couples, you can take the quiz online also. So you can get the book, you can take the quiz online. It just gives you a good foundation of things you could do to show your spouse that you care. What's
yours?
Mine, I haven't taken the test in forever. I know one of my top 2 is gifts. And so when I first came through that way, I was just like, oh, like, that sounds so materialistic. Like, I don't want to gifts. But then I realized it's not so much that it is the monetary value on it, it's the thought behind it.
Yeah.
So my husband's is his way of, to throw another wrench in it. So there's people like to receive love in one way, but sometimes they give love in a different way.
Yeah.
And so it can be different. So I am not a very good gift giver to other people. I think I usually show it through service or with time is how I probably show it to other people, but I like to receive it probably in gifts and in time. So it's so different. My husband definitely gives it in service. It's really hard for him to give gifts. And so we've had some fun conversations about that over the last 16 years too. He's done awesome, but there's been a few times where he's like, oh, there's a lot of pressure on this because I know that this is really important to you and I'm not good at it. And so you just kind of have to talk through,
ongoing conversation for you guys.
Yeah, and just, you both, like, I know that he's trying, and so I try to make sure that I cut him some slack on it. But I'm sure there's a million couples, they're different. And so the important part is that you're trying to show your spouse that you care in the way that they want to receive it.
I don't know if you're allowed to share, but do you have like a really good, someone that you worked with, a really good success story from either a married couple or a teen that thrived? You don't have to say a name. But
I can't say names, but I do. So it's been years ago. So nobody in Liberty Hill would definitely will not. I mean, this is back when I lived on the other side of Austin, so far away. But I had a couple that I worked with off and on for probably 2.5 years. And so they'd come for a while, and then I was back when I was still having babies, and so I'd have a baby and go on maternity leave, and I'd come back, and they'd come back, and so off and on for about 2.5 years, and I nicknamed them the couple that hates each other. Like, they just fought all the time, and they would be so petty and mean to each other. Like, he would wash her clothes in a way that he knew she didn't like, just to be mad at her. Like, they did it to each other. It was just hard. And there was one, so after like 2.5 years, they came in, they had a good week, and I was like, okay, this is good, like, keep up the progress. They came in the next week, had a good week. I'm like, guys, it's been 2 weeks, you haven't had any fights for 2 weeks? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay. When they came in the third week, another good week, they were solving conversations at home, and I was like, you guys have never, as long as I've known you, gone 3 weeks without a big explosive fight at home. I was like, what are you doing differently? And the husband said, he's like, Nikki, he's like, all those things that you ask us to do at home? I'm like, yeah. He's like, we're doing them. I was like, okay.
It's like mind blown.
Yes. And so I saw them for another month or so before I actually moved to a different city and transferred them to a different therapist. But they were good that last chunk of time. And so I've always kept that in the back of my mind of like, if they'll just do the things at home. There's only so much I can do in an hour a week in my office. People have to go home and do it at home and keep practicing. And if they do, things will get better. Yeah. So, and that's not because of me or like, oh, my plan was so great. But it's because they're replacing negative habits with positive habits.
Yeah.
So that one's always kind of stuck out. Just put in the work and do the things.
So that's actually good advice, a good example for anyone that's going to or in therapy, right? Is the take home work is really where that success comes from, not just the session.
Yeah. To go home and talk differently, listen differently, show love and affection for each other in the way that you're hoping to get. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. What, not to like pivot into a really completely new direction, but one of the big reasons, lots of people know who you are is that you started Howdy Liberty Hill. Mm-hmm. And 3 years being here, coming from Amarillo, going to San Marcos, getting married, having kids, moving here. Yeah. How? Why?
Yeah. Where did Liberty Hill? How did Howdy come from? Another cool thing about Liberty Hill. So when we lived in Round Rock before we came to Liberty Hill, and there was an Instagram page down there called Round the Rock. And different than what I do, but did a lot of like business outreach and kind of, keeping people in contact. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I want to do something like that when we go out to Liberty Hill. So even before we moved out here, I already had the Facebook, the Instagram made, and I had the idea for it. I knew I wanted to be involved in just sharing people's stories. And it evolved more. Like once I finally got out here, it kind of evolved a little bit more, and it is still evolving. But when the yogurt experience opened, I met Rebecca Darling, she's the owner, and she's like, oh, you remind me so much of something I used to do in Round Rock. She was the one that did the Round Rock page in Round Rock.
Oh my God.
And I was like, Rebecca, like that was part of my inspiration to do Howdy Liberty Hill. Was I saw what you had done, and I was like, oh, how can I, kind of shift that and make it fit my personality? So I just thought it's funny that now
that's a full circle moment.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, Howdy, I have a brother-in-law that lives in Kansas that seems like he knows everybody in town. And whenever he needs something done, it's like, oh, it's my friend the painter and my friend this. And at one point they had a craft they wanted to do. It's like, oh, my friend has like extra vinyl at like his shop that he'll just let you, sweep up off the floor. And it was like, oh, I've never lived in a small town that had that connection to people. And so when we're moving out here, it's like, I want to know everybody and all of the things, and I want to know who all the people are so I can have that small town experience, because I knew Liberty Hills, it is growing. It's still small, but it's growing. We're part of that growth. And so I was like, I just want to meet everybody and know all of the things. And so that's the idea that turned into Howdy Liberty Hill, was I just wanted to meet everybody.
And you had started this idea before you even officially moved to Liberty Hill. Mm-hmm. So what was your first post then? What was the first?
Yeah. We moved out here in the middle of April 2022, and we got a hair, got settled. I made my shirt, my first little Howdy shirt, and they were advertising for that Whimsy and Wonder, which happens in May. And they put out a list of all the different vendors that were going to be there, and there was Jubilee Pottery was going to be in it. And I was like, ooh, I've never been to a pottery studio like that. It'd be kind of fun. And so I got a hold of her. I don't remember if I emailed her or if I called her. I can't remember how that first one went down, but she's like, yeah, sure, you can come in. And so I think I had a couple of kids with me, because that's just the phase of life we were in. And went and met her, and she showed me all around her studio, and I got an interview with her, and we got to make a couple of things together, and it was so much fun. And you can tell it was one of the things where she's, like, well, why would you want to tell my story? Like, no one's ever interviewed me. But I loved it. And then a few days later, I interviewed the guy that does all of the ice sculptures in town. and met him at his shop, and he showed me all of his projects and crafts that he's been building things forever. And he was so sweet. Like, he had like 2 chairs set up and like water bottles for me, and I was like, oh, you brought me a water bottle. It felt so special. Had his interview and did his story, and then for my birthday that year, my husband got me a water bottle and put my little Howdy logo on it. And that was my birthday present. He was like, oh, that guy gave you water. I should make you like your own Howdy water.
Yeah, that's a gift.
Yeah, it's a gift, right? He's good. He's great sweetheart. And so those were the first 2, and it was focused around getting ready for Whimsy and Wonder. And then it just kind of kept going from there. And I got just more brave of like, okay, who else can I be brave enough to talk to? And the people in Liberty Hill are so wonderful and so kind. Of course, the business owners are like, yeah, of course, like, it's free advertising. Come and talk to me. But I love just, randomly meeting like moms and the PTA people, and just everyone. It seems like they have a little side hustle in town, or a talent, or something else they do. People are just, Liberty Hill, it's just such a cool place. And the people are so awesome. And I love that I can just share that with everyone.
When do you think was the kind of pivotal moment that the page blew up? Because 5,500 for our town. That's a lot of followers.
The first time I was in the newspaper, that was super exciting.
Oh, really?
Because I met with Rachel, and she like recorded it and typed it all up, and I felt like so fancy that I was in the newspaper the very first time. Still have that newspaper like in the Hope chest. It's saved.
What was it under? Was it like a business feature, or was it? Was it considered a business feature?
I think they were. Was that the women issue? Like the women? I don't remember.
We have Rachel behind the camera.
Yes,
Rachel's
back here.
Rachel's one of the owners of the independent newspaper, in case you're not aware.
Yes. So that was the first time I met Rachel Madison, and that was awesome. That felt very special. And then it just grew really slowly over time, because you got to be in the algorithm. And,
you were just organic posting.
Yeah.
You didn't like put money back.
No.
Yeah, pure organic.
It was just me going around town with my phone and my tripod. I think and it was just fun to make the videos. I think the videos was the most fun part, because it shows the personalities of all the people around town. And so I don't know if there was a definite like, oh, it really took off after this particular moment.
Was there a moment where you knew this is something that you can't stop doing?
When I got to put something in the time capsule.
Oh,
yes.
Really?
So,
that wasn't that long ago.
No, yeah. So they asked for entries, and I was like, well, I want to put something in time capsule. I just like to be involved. So I was like, I'm going to put something in the time capsule. And I needed it to make a new Howdy shirt anyways, because my shirt had been worn and washed so many times, it was getting a little old. And so my very first Howdy shirt went into the time capsule. And I was like, well, I have to at least be around for another 5 or 7 years when they open it. Like, I can't go anywhere now. So at that point, I knew I had to stick around for years to come.
Yeah, then it'd just be so long, Liberty Hill. There wouldn't be Howdy.
They'd open the time capsule and be like, why is this t-shirt here? What's the purpose of this t-shirt in here?
Oh, that's so funny. So what's like your cadence? Do you have do you post, is it just kind of sporadic, or do you try to?
Yeah, it's just based on whatever the schedule is. Sometimes I'll see a whole bunch of people in a week. Sometimes it's just 1 or 2. Sometimes I'll see a whole bunch of people and then just publish them over time. I usually try to publish them pretty closely to when I interview, so that I don't forget all the things. Because I take notes in my phone, and then I just write it up, so I can't forget all the details. But yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It ebbs and flows. It usually slows down in the summer, just because summer is busy. During Christmas break, it'll slow down. But it'll pick it back up again once everybody comes back after the holidays.
How do you curate who you want to cover? Where are you researching? Where are you finding the tips?
Yeah, when I was filming the little Christmas music video, I was at Capital Title, and a guy came in to meet them. He's a surveyor. I have his card. Whoever you are, I'll find you again. But he came in to meet them. I was like, hey, while you're here, by the way, I also do this thing. Can I have your card too? So I need to get a hold of him after the holidays and meet him. Sometimes people will reach out to me and be like, hey, how do we get our schedule? I'm like, cool, I can come tomorrow. Like, what's up? But usually I'll just, if new businesses pop up, I'll message them. Or if someone's like, hey, I have a friend that does this thing, I'm like, cool, put me in touch with them and I'll go meet them. It's just kind of random.
Yeah.
How it comes. Hopefully people don't ever get offended. If you've been waiting to get on the list, please don't be offended that I haven't gotten to you yet, because I don't have a list.
Oh.
It's it just kind of comes. So so if you're listening and you want to be on just message me and I'll put you on my list, because there is no list. It just randomly comes.
Well, now, just kind of full circle to the beginning, now you're on the cover of the newspaper. So you didn't just have a little blurb in inside. Now I hope you have that framed now.
I have multiple copies at home.
Yeah, I do too.
It was very surreal to when they did the night before it was released and everybody got to come in and do the awards. That was very surreal to walk in and everybody be like, oh, it's Nikki. And I was like, oh, I know all of you people, but it was very, very exciting to just to know and have everybody excited to see me. I felt very honored.
Oh yeah.
It was very surreal. Yeah. And everyone was so kind and so wonderful. And it was funny. One of my counseling clients lives in town, and they came in for the next session, and he joked. He's like, so I saw the newspaper and I turned to my wife and I was like, why does she look so familiar? Like, did we see her, at a game night? Like, I can't place how I know her. And the wife was like, that's Nikki. Like, that's our counselor. And he was like, oh yeah. Like, guys, I took the picture like right here in my office. So that was kind of interesting to merge both worlds. Like, so we don't ever merge the counseling world with the Howdy world. So that was kind of fun. But it was exciting to be on the newspaper for sure. And then that's how other people are just like, wait, you're the girls on the newspaper. And they'll be like, well, I have this thing I do. I'm like, give me your card and I'll reach out. We'll be in touch.
Was it your brother-in-law that was out of state that knows everybody? Was it, or your brother?
Oh, my brother-in-law.
Your brother-in-law. Your brother-in-law now, I'm sure you've told him.
Oh.
Does he?
No, he actually doesn't know that I do this.
Really? I was going to say, because then now you can be like, I know everybody in my town thanks to your influence.
I'll have to tell him next time I see him. So we don't. It's a good drive, so we don't see him.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But it's kind of interesting now. You're kind of at if not a much greater plane than his neighborhood environment, because now everybody really knows you.
Yeah, it's fun sometimes. Like, I'm on the board for the Friends of the Library program, and we had a new person that came to our meeting on Thursday night. And so we're all introducing ourselves, and they're like, oh, and who are you? And they're like, oh, well, that's Nikki. She knows everybody in town. I'm like, thanks, guys.
My plan worked.
But it's really fun. I love being involved. I love having the trust of people in town.
Right.
So that I can go to places and just put my phone and take pictures, and they're just like, okay, we trust you. Mm-hmm. We know whatever you're doing is going to be cool.
Trust is the key.
Yeah, that's very validating. I love that.
Have you ever been like sought out in public events, like, called out and saying, hey, you're that one from blah, blah, blah?
I think we just had the Christmas festival, and that was shortly after the paper had come out. And so there are a few people that are like, wait, you're the girl who's on the paper. And it's like, yeah.
No autographs?
No autographs.
So if I tell you that you are an influencer, how does that make you, how do you take that? Is influencer something you've wanted to be, or is it just kind of an image that just came with your passion for covering Liberty Hill? It's
a title that I've kind of reluctantly just come to be like, okay, I guess that's the best way to describe it. Because people are like, well, what do you do? I'm like, I'm kind of like an influencer. I just showcase the city. So I've kind of slowly come to, I guess that's the label that it describes it the best.
I don't even know, because I've seen people say they're digital creators, and then I've heard influencer, but I think they have a difference. I'm not familiar with what that difference would be, but would you rather be a digital creator, or would you rather be an influencer?
Oh, that's a good question. I think influencer probably describes it better, because like if I introduce you to a new business, I'm hoping that you'll go there and like try out their cool new stuff. So yeah, I would say probably digital creator or influencer more than the creator, but I do really like making the videos. That's really fun.
Oh, yeah.
So,
do you think any of the passion for doing Howdy Liberty Hill stemmed from your journalism, like tapping into journalism and the media side of things?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think it's like filling in the hole of, something maybe you didn't tap deeper into when?
I think it just I think the skill, there's not a whole, like I did journalism in high school. I did it for a little bit in college. I don't think it left a hole so much when I stepped away from journalism, but this definitely builds upon it.
That's good.
So just the write-ups, I guess, would be the what pulls the most. Like the interview part of me just talking to people, that definitely comes from the counseling side. But when I write it up, I try to go back and remember, like, okay, what are my own journalism rules and how are you supposed to phrase things, and so that then comes out of high school journalism for sure.
Are you do you have a website? Or?
I have it. I haven't built it yet.
Okay.
It's on my list of things to do. But I know how I want to build the website, and it's beyond. I still have some skills to learn to be able to build it the way that I have it in my head. But someday, hopefully I have an actual website.
So there's a growth plan for this concept. We'll get into that in just a second, because I have a question I don't want to forget, and I know I will. Would you ever monetize Howdy Liberty Hill?
Not in the traditional way. So if I ever did build out the website, like there could be advertising and stuff on that, and that would be the part, I guess, that would be monetized. But as far as like me just going around town and interviewing people, I don't ever want to charge for that, because I think that's what makes it special. And if I screw it up and you're like, oh, that write-up was kind of weird, well, you didn't pay me, so you can't get mad at it.
It's true. It's a fair point.
It's like, I don't like that picture you took. It's like, no, I'm not really a photographer, so. But I don't ever want people to feel like it's a pay-to-play thing, or that that they're too small to get attention. I want everyone's story to be worth telling. So that part I'll never charge for. If anything, it would be the website.
You have Google Pay You. That's
yes.
That's a fair approach, I think. The growth plan for Howdy Liberty Hill. So you have a pending website. What else would you want to see in the coming next year, 2 years with the brand?
Oh, if I had, and I remember I told Rachel this when we had our very first interview, if I had unlimited funds, I would love to just throw giant parties for fun stuff. And just because it's a way to bring people together, right? And so if we had just giant community events, or if there was a big lip sync battle that everybody could come into, or like every time they do like the big Oscars nights, it'd be kind of fun to have. We have so many creative people around town. If there's like submit little mini movies, and we'll have like a mini movie Liberty Hill style and vote on, have our own awards. Like I would love to do just community events in that way, but that takes a lot more time and talent and skills than I currently have. So maybe someday, but I'd love to do that someday.
I was going to say, how do you balance, with having kids and a family, and then also taking the time to go to sites and interview people? Like, how do you calendar all of that? And
I try to squeeze when the kids are in school. So if I can do it during the day, that helps. If I do things, sometimes I'll do things in the evenings on Saturdays. But you just make it work. Somehow it all just fits. What's
your favorite story that you covered?
Favorite.
Or that you got to tell the community about?
That's hard, because I've got to think back like 3 years of awesome people.
We'll put a preface. Everybody was awesome. We're just highlighting awesome. Like a very unique experience.
Yes. Trying to think, because there's so many people too that will do the interview. I'm like, we should just be friends. Like, they're all cool. I think one of my favorite themes that I see in interviews goes back to the idea of the people that choose to move to Liberty Hill. So I hear so much from people that they felt like they were drawn here, or, God pulled them here, or that they have a reason to be here. So that, I think, is one of my favorite themes to see. Mom's like, well, what made you choose Liberty Hill? And it's always some combination of that. I love seeing the people from California that come, and then they're like, as soon as I got here, I took off the California plates, and I'm texting now. I'm like, okay, cool, you can stay. We'll accept you. The people immediately they go get their hat and they go get their brisket. And they're like, boom, I'm a Texan.
And then they have a twang all of a sudden that they never had.
They try. They're like, we wanted to be here.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's just so many good people.
Do you do profiles of individuals, not necessarily businesses?
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to think of all the individual people that have favorite. I don't have one that's pops out in mind that's been oh, this is my favorite ever. Everybody's awesome.
Yeah.
They're all really cool.
Everyone has a unique story to tell, and it's a unique journey as to how they got into Liberty Hill.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've probably interviewed Liberty Hill natives.
Yeah, okay. I call them the unicorns whenever I find them.
Oh, well, I'm married to one.
Yeah.
I'm married to a unicorn, so there you go. I always ask him questions when we're driving around. I'm like, what was that? And then he'll go down the rabbit hole of that used to be that. It used to be a videotape rental place. All this. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
The transition of a lot of what Liberty Hill was to how it is now is black and white. It's insane.
It's so much fun whenever I get to sit down with Gary Spivey and tell me the history of everything and just what the buildings all were. He's so much fun to talk to.
He even knew who my husband was too. I was like, okay.
Yeah, and all the politics from way back when. And it's so much fun.
Oh yes. Your outlook for Liberty Hill, there's so much growth happening here. Yeah. How do you feel about the growth? Do you feel excited? Do you feel a little weary? Everyone's got a different, and I know you've talked a lot. They've got a different opinion.
There's very much that kind of divide of some of the people that resent the change and some of the people that are excited to see it.
We need your positive spin on it because it's.
I try, and I tell people too, that's my job with Howdy is to keep us connected. Because yes, the traffic is going to be annoying and they need to build more roads and hopefully they build more. I know people don't like that either, but we do need more roads. But that's what makes Liberty Hill special is that, you go back, people have been here for generations that know each other. So if I can introduce everybody to each other and keep us connected, that helps preserve that small town, big heart that Liberty Hill has. Mm-hmm. But I am excited to see it change. I hope that the powers that be are just conscious of, how they grow and change, that they plan it well and they bring in businesses that are going to be a benefit. So I hope that the people planning are planning well. Yeah. But I'm excited to see how it will shift and change over time.
Especially downtown too. There's just so much that's getting, there's just so much potential in that downtown with the historical buildings and it's going to be very exciting to see what morphs in our downtown environment too.
Yeah. I know that's if I had unlimited money, I was I could do this and that, and all these things that would bring people together. Somebody else will have to build those buildings.
Do you have any advice for the next Spirit of Liberty Hill Award winner in the future? As we get into 2026, there's going to be other people that are passionate about the city. People that are driven to see the city be successful, keep everyone connected. Yeah. What kind of advice would you give to the community that wants to kind of maybe follow in your footsteps, kind of like how you followed, Rebecca Darling's footsteps?
What advice would I give? I think, like I said, just be positive and meet people where they are, and just be excited to meet the people that are coming and tell their stories and listen and. Just encourage people. No city's perfect and no people are perfect, and you're always going to have a neighbor you don't get along with or somebody in the PTA that you don't like their decision. That's just part of being human. But I think overall, knowing that we're all here trying to do the best we can, we all want our kids to be safe and to be healthy and to be happy, and we all want to be able to get from point A to point B with as little traffic as possible. We all want the same things. So if we look at that. If we let that bigger picture unite us instead of getting frustrated the couple areas where we're different, I think that helps to keep Liberty Hill special.
That's great. Well, Nikki, thank you so much for spending time with us. I love that we got to. You're not just Howdy Liberty Hill. You're someone that's a faith-based woman. You have your own business here, and I think this was a great opportunity for the community to really get to know you at a deeper level than just what's on Facebook and Instagram, even though we love it, but it's just nice to personalize it a bit more. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Of course.